Hello, my friends. I wanted to come on and do a mini reading. It's funny, one of you said yesterday, your mini readings are getting longer and longer each day. They are by like 5 or 10 minutes each day. I was just told to take it very slow. I'm resting a lot. I'm resting most of the day. Last night I kind of had a relapse in my healing. So just like personal growth and healing our wounds. Um, Physical healing can also be kind of up and down because, to be honest, I was doing really well for a week and then last night just, I was not doing well. So I really, this is also though for me, you know, this lights my soul up and I don't want to, a lot of people when they're healing physically can struggle with mental health, right? Anyway, so I did a channeled message today. But I really wanted to come on and just get you 3 cards. So this really is just going to be kind of a check-in. And it's not going to be about love. It's going to be about you. So don't run away. Practical Epiphany for Personal Growth. Soul's Journey Oracle is what I'm using today. And like I said, we're a healing bunch. And I just wanted to get a few cards for you. And I wanted to know what Spirit wants you to know about personal growth and healing on your soul's journey right now. So let's get into it. So I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to try not to, it's funny. I was like, I'm going to try not to look at the cards. And then I looked immediately at the card. So coping with grief. You could be coping with grief right now. Turn loss into gain. So maybe you've lost something, someone, you know, maybe you went through an ending with love, or you've lost your family. And before I even go any further, I should have done this reading first because I talked a lot about this in the love reading, but you could be a cycle breaker. And, maybe for some of you, you lost your family because you're the black sheep, you're the healing one, but you've turned it into a positive gain for you and your children or your children to come. I was talking about how, I really have been not going on social media the last few months because I find that it really messes with my head sometimes. And I have been on social media the past few days because I've been doing nothing and I get into that doom scrolling. And there's there's like this group of people emerging on social media who are really shaming people for putting up boundaries with their family. Especially people in like my generation. So I'm 41. And, they kind of talk about how they're destroying their family by doing this. And what's disturbing to me is that what if your family doesn't want to heal, right? What if you wanted to work things out with your family, but they didn't want to? And you ended up losing your family because you had to put up boundaries. There's a lot of, I'm not sure if you've seen that online, but all of a sudden it was all over my feed. Like people really upset about cycle breakers and how they're wrecking families. And it made me want to come on and do a reading about healing and kind of talk to you guys about how there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting up healthy boundaries with your family if they're unwilling to heal. I tried with my own family. I wanted to heal. I didn't want to be in no contact. I didn't want to put up boundaries. But when I mentioned I wanted to heal from these things, I was kind of, shunned from my family as the black sheep. And it's not about me not putting in enough effort or not wanting to fix things. I tried. But you can't fix something all on your own. Like at some point, our parents also need to be involved in that healing, right? We can heal, we can release resentment, We can understand they did the best they could. We can love them. But if they're not safe for us, right? If there was abuse or emotional abuse, or there's nothing wrong with putting up boundaries. And I had a choice to make, like on my own journey. Do I continue sweeping things under the carpet and being in an unhealthy family dynamic? Or do I choose to break the cycle so that my children have a better life? And I chose my children, right? So I'm not sure if that resonates with anyone, but as someone who hasn't been on social media in a while, I was kind of shocked by it. This narrative that we're doing something wrong by wanting to break cycles. Anyway, let's keep going. So maybe a loss, right? A loss of a relationship or a family ship. You're turning into some sort of gain. Like I see it as I now love my family from a distance and I've lost that family dynamic, but there are huge gains because I've been healing and I'm a more healed version of myself, and my children are my children don't have to dim their light or worry about being loud. Like I'm truly breaking cycles. So I see that as a gain. Anyway, it was strange. Delightful intimacy. Tend to the flowering of friendship. Love, love, love. So maybe you're calling in your soul tribe. Maybe you've found a friend on this journey, or you're going to meet a friend on this journey. I talk about how in order to meet your soul tribe, the people who are meant to be aligned with you, you need to call them in by shining your light and being your authentic self. Maybe for some of you, you've released certain friendships because you're not in the same place anymore. And I often talk about that, how that happened to me. And, the moment that I released that friendship, I created another one. I talk about my friend Michelle, who came into my life during a time where I really needed a friend. She originally started out as one of my subscribers, and we've become, best friends. So maybe you have recently let go of a friendship or you've outgrown a friendship. And it doesn't mean that we don't love those people. It's just that we're not aligned with them anymore. You know what I mean? Like once you awaken, once you start healing, you feel different than other people. And it's not that we think we're better than other people. It's that we're on different paths, right? Typically, people who are on the healing journey don't want to sit around in negativity and that kind of stuff. And people who are on the healing journey like to talk about healing, or they like spiritual things. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So maybe you've lost a friendship and a new one is coming in. Believe it. I remember I wrote down in my intentions that I would find a friend. And she appeared. I called her in. So anyway, I hope you don't believe that you can't find friends. It is hard to find friends when you are an adult, right? But by healing and raising your vibration, you'll align with people who are on the same frequency as you. Maybe you'll find a friend in my comment section, someone whose story sounds a lot like yours, or someone you really resonate with. Like I know of a few of you that would make really good friends. Anyway, so let's get into this reading. We have welcome change. Yes, and change is uncomfortable. Change is scary. Change, it's very easy to sit in our comfort zone. We feel safer in our comfort zone. Change, evolution is messy, is what I'm hearing. Change can be hard. So welcome change. So maybe you are, it says revel in your renewal. So it almost feels like you are awakening or blossoming into this butterfly. So whatever changes are happening to you, think about it. It's the Wheel of Fortune year. Is it the year of the horse? Is that right? I think about it, I'm not, I think about it, for me, I always think about the tarot cards for the year. So this year, I think of it as the Wheel of Fortune, the year that that wheel is going to turn in your favor. And the changes that you're making, the renewal you're going through, is going to align you with better opportunities and people who are more like you, your soul tribe, maybe even, love. Like we've been talking a lot about higher level soulmate. That's definitely an energy that's been coming through in my readings. So I'm just going to read it. Like I said, this is just going to be a short little, imagine we're having coffee. The passage of the soul in this, how do you take your coffee? I feel like a friend should know that, right? I absolutely love eggnog in my coffee. Does anybody do that? I prefer a little bit of eggnog instead of milk and sugar. Before that, I took like milk and sugar. Also, if I'm getting a drink or a coffee out, I really like vanilla lattes. Recently, I've started drinking protein lattes? Lattes. Let's go get a latte. That sounds more fun. I've been drinking protein lattes with vanilla in them. But I feel like friends should know how they take their coffee. So how do you take your coffee? I want to know. It's funny. I went to a doctor's appointment yesterday, and this is something. This is going to be repetitive if you watched the channeled message I filmed, but my sister described moments where you feel a remembrance of trauma. She said last night, I won't repeat the story of how we got there, but she said, I call them my ghosties. That the little moments that haunt us or remind us of our trauma. I just thought it was super cute. So yesterday when I was at my appointment having a checkup, and they were like checking my incisions and everything, and the nurse was telling me what she was doing, I was asking so many questions. Like what's that for? What does that do? I just asked so many questions, and I said to her, like, I ask a lot of questions. I do. I've always been that way. And a little ghosty popped up from my past where I remember very vividly. This is what happens when you do shadow work, and being on bed rest has really brought up a lot of emotional wounds that I'm still working on. But I have trauma when it comes to the dentist because of what happened with my father. So I was at the dentist, and I'm not going to tell you what they were doing. I'll just say my front teeth were not coming down. They would not break through the gums. So I was at the dentist getting something done about that. And even as a child, I don't know how old I was, 4 or 5, I can't remember. I asked a lot of questions. I wanted to know what was going to happen. And that was the autistic side of me. So I wanted to know, what's that tool for? What tool are you going to use to do this? What should I expect? Will it hurt? And I asked so many questions. And unfortunately, when my dad took me to the car, he was very upset that I asked so many questions and that I cried. And, he told me, I'm never going to take you to the dentist again. Very, I can see it very vividly in my head. That's one of those things, childhood wounding. That's one of those moments where I really do need to do that meditation and go back and comfort my inner child and take her the fuck out of that car. But I've always been like that. I ask a lot of questions, especially when I'm getting to know someone, and it's not about being surface level. I want to know the things about you that make you you. I want to know your favorite color. What's your favorite animal? What are your like dreams? Like, what's your astrological sign? When's your birthday? What's your favorite dessert? It's why I ask you guys questions, right? I'm asking about how you like your coffee. To me, that's part of my love language. And I really do feel like it's linked to being autistic. And I've been told by people that it's annoying or that it feels like they're being interrogated. But that's just, it's part of my love language. I want to know you, No, not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Why did I start talking about this? I have no idea. Spirit, why did you bring that up? I have no idea why Spirit brought up that example. Anyway, how do you like your coffee? I'd like to know. If any of you have ever watched Road to Avonlea, there is this character, I think his name is Davy, and he's in the later seasons. Shout out to my Canadian peeps. And that's what he's like. He's so curious and inquisitive. And again, I was punished for that as a child. I learned how to mask it. I learned how to hide it. Now that I'm, living my authentic self, I don't want to mask it or hide it. But there was this kid named Davy, and he would ask so many questions, and he'd be like, really, I want to know. So I say that all the time. It's like an inside joke between my partner. Really, I want to know. I really do want to know. So how do you like your coffee? The passage of the soul in this life is not always rosy. There are usually ebbs and flows along the way. We often resist change for the fear of facing something new and unfamiliar. Yet the power of creativity comes from being open to new ways of expressing and responding to what happens to us. When change occurs, we can rely on our inherent ability to turn it into a positive potential in our life. If some challenge or difficulty takes place on your journey, it could also be an opportunity that has come your way to benefit you. If you only focus on the negative impact, you will lose the powerful potential behind the change. But if you see it as an opportunity, you can delight in what is new and different from the old. By trusting your creative power to lead you, you can make every change a new beginning, a new birth into greater possibilities. Remember, the change that seems tragic to the caterpillar. I knew it was I was feeling butterfly energy. Yeah. Remember, the change that seems tragic to the caterpillar is the miracle of renewal to the butterfly. Every living creature is endowed with a spark within that can catch the light and flame of a new idea. Dare to risk responding to change in a hopeful way, and trust love to anoint you with the power to endure. Cultivate openness and willingness to consider trying something new. Have faith that you can adapt to new ways of dealing with change. Rejoice in every innovative idea and look forward to experiencing that which has never existed before. And your mantra, I welcome change in my life. You should write this on a Post-it note. I welcome change in my life, and I trust my ability to adjust to it. So maybe, you're blossoming into this butterfly, and the caterpillars that you were around who aren't ready to change and transform, you can't stay on the ground waiting for them, right? And you can't force them to change. So maybe you are a butterfly who's ascending. I'm seeing the butterfly card. So healing the inner child, evolving to the next stage, and not everybody can come with us on the next stage of our journey. So again, just that video to shame people for learning how to put up healthy boundaries. They were also really saying that it's the fault of therapists and counselors. Okay, I'd rather be healthy. I'd rather have a healthy environment, have healthy relationships, learn how to put up healthy boundaries than by staying stuck in a situation where the people you're with don't want to change. You know what? No, not going to say it. Eventually I will stop saying that. I'm getting better. I stop myself. Every time today I stop myself. Anyway, let's get another card. I really wanted to take that card. So you're in your cocoon, or you're already evolving out of your cocoon. And when we transform into that butterfly, sometimes old parts of ourselves, old aspects of our lives, friendships, family, they fall away with that past version of ourselves. And again, I believe in breaking cycles. It will change future generations to come. And I don't think we should be feeling shamed for that. All right, let's get another one. It's not that I felt shamed though. My concern was, it takes a lot to put up boundaries with your parents or someone you love. And my fear is that that message that's being put out is going to confuse people who really do need to put up boundaries. And maybe it's not that we're not trying hard enough to repair relationships, but maybe the people we're connected to are not yet ready to change or evolve. Anyway, my dogs are going crazy. Just ignore them. Make work fun. Wally's coming home. He had to go for an ultrasound today. Whoever said that you were feeling that there might be something about his liver, how did you do that? How did you do that? Anyway, after a very expensive ultrasound, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, he just had like a simple infection is basically what it boiled down to. But I wanted to make sure. I believe, vets are very expensive, but I also believe if you have pets, you need to be willing to take care of them, right? Where am I going? I was going to S. Why was I going to S? Does your name start with S? Make work fun. Be positive about your work. Nice. So clearly, if you're unhappy in your job, I don't want you to mask and just pretend that you're happy. But your work should bring you happiness. When you're in a career where you're all the time looking at, can I just say something really quick in case you're not watching that love reading? I have a new method for how to stop apologizing for existing. And I'm trying to teach my kids this. So replace I'm sorry for like when you over apologize to thank you for letting me know, or thank you for being patient with me. So thank you for being patient with my barking dogs. They're just excited because Wally is home. But there are signs that tell us things aren't working or things aren't aligned with us. When things become stuck and stagnant, when they make us unhappy, when you work for a job where you're dreading work, you look forward to the weekend and then you feel depressed on Sunday because you have to go back on Monday, when you're constantly watching the clock at work, counting down the hours until you can leave. Those are signs that that's not in your highest alignment. And that may trigger you, right? Because we can't just, in this day and age with things the way they are, we can't just walk away from a job that we don't enjoy. But you should feel like if it's in alignment with you, you would feel positive about it. And again, maybe that's something to do with fear of change. I worked for a very toxic company once where I knew the boss was emotionally abusive. I was not on his hit list, so he was generally nice with me, but I watched the abuse in that company, and I worked with my mom, and I ended up getting pregnant and going on maternity leave. And when I was on maternity leave, I realized how toxic that environment was and how damaging it was to me. So I decided to quit my job. And I thought I have like a few months to try and find something else, to do something else. I had worked there for like 6 years. And I tried to tell my mom that. And she feared change so much. She's still there. I left 14 years ago. She's still there because she fears change. So I don't want you to feel bad about it if you fear change, but you also don't want to stay stuck in an unhealthy environment. That even goes to relationships or family ships. Make work fun. We are all actors in a play called life. Our role has been assigned to us by the divine director without consulting with us. If we perform our role well, the play of life becomes enjoyable for us. Skillful actors are those who find ways to improvise on the part they have to play and give outstanding performances. The actors who are not so passionate about their roles will have to suffer throughout the play or take a different part. Having an ideal career is fulfilling, rewarding, and enjoyable. But if the workload makes you feel unmotivated and lethargic, perhaps it's time to shift in direction. What did I just say? Of course, breaking away from the support of the cocoon. For some of you, this is work related. Could even be about going after your mission. I was stuck in that job. I was stuck in that photography. I knew that I was going down the wrong path, and Spirit kept whispering me, mission, 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 go after your mission. And I always talk about how when you do mission work, and my hope is that all of you can find your mission. Sometimes it's not easy to find your mission, but once you find your mission, once you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's absolutely true. Like, I'm supposed to be on bed rest. Yes, some people see this as me working. To me, this is filling my soul up. It's lighting my soul spark on fire. It's enjoyable. You know, I never dread doing tarot readings because I love it. So my hope for you is that you can find something that lights up your soul, because sometimes the universe will even take things away from us. I talked about this yesterday, to point us in the right direction. So, for example, like if you're really not willing to leave that job that is not working out, Spirit could start taking away those opportunities, or maybe you lose clients, or maybe you get laid off, or maybe the company shuts down. Okay, of course, breaking away from the support of the cocoon and flying towards joy and freedom requires incredible power. It needs strength and the capacity to be resilient in the face of hurdles. It requires you to create a new version of yourself that can exist beyond limiting beliefs. Exactly. And those, what if I never find a job? What if I don't succeed? Well, it pays the bills. I could never get another job. Those are all limiting beliefs. Eight of Swords. Limiting beliefs that keep you feeling like you're stuck and trapped. And that goes for relationships too, okay? Counterpart or not, your strength develops through your vision and level of dedication. Your soul's journey becomes exciting when your work is done with love, determination, and faith in yourself. Through using your imagination, you can become more creative and capable of producing extraordinary results. Stay true to yourself and never give up on your dreams. Expand your horizons beyond your daily work. Keep a positive attitude and enjoy the ride of your life. Your mantra, I have been given enough talent to make my work reflect who I am and what I'm worth. Lovely. So don't fear that change. I had all those limiting beliefs when I started going after my mission. That's why I talked yesterday about you can transition. You don't have to just, if you work, I'm out of here. I remember when I think it was when I was living in a group home, I was working as like a house cleaner in a hotel. Really like not a good hotel. And I just remember it was so unmotivating and awful, and the way that people treated you, like it wasn't like a high-end hotel or anything. And I remember just walking into the bathroom, like I don't know, maybe I'm different, but when I'm in a hotel, I kind of try to pick up after myself. I don't rely on housekeeping to like be a maid or something. And I just remember I was feeling so unfulfilled and unhappy. And I walked into the bathroom, and what I found in that bathroom, I will not share with you because it would scar you too. And I just looked at it and I took my cart out of that room, parked it around the corner, and I left. Like, I was like, nope, that's enough of that. I don't even think I had been working there long. It was just, no. But shout out to anybody who does housekeeping. I'm always really nice to, because I know what it's like. There's no reason to be rude to housekeepers. I see that sometimes when I'm on vacation. Or like people who talk down to waiters and stuff. Or don't even notice them. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. One more. May 17th could be symbolic. One more card for you. And I actually have been enjoying, like, it's hard for me to do these mini readings because I could sit here and talk to you for hours. Usually my readings are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But one thing about doing these mini readings is it allows me more freedom to do different kinds, right? And you still get a good message from it. So I'm going to keep doing this. It's been good for me to, it's been good. Grateful for life, be thankful for your gifts. There's so much to be grateful for, and so many people just miss everything, you know? Example, when you learn to see the magic around you, it's everywhere. And so many people are like living in that matrix or programmed rat race, 9 to 5. They're driving it. Like when I went into that appointment, I just hated sitting in rush hour and seeing people like being impatient with each other and cutting people off and honking at people. And they weren't, you know, there was so much going on around visually, but nobody notices. Like everybody just has their nose to the grindstone. But like I see it as that muggle world. And we were driving to my appointment, and we were stuck in rush hour traffic downtown. I was like probably 2 minutes away from my appointment, but the traffic was going to make it like 15 minutes. And we were parked beside this bush that had, I don't know what they're called, but in the winter they have like, it's almost like they're fluffy tails, grass. For some reason I love grass. I'm drawn to grass and sunlight. Again, it's an inside joke with people who know me. Oh, look, there's grass. But just the way the sunlight was shining through the buildings and the frost was on this little fluffy part on the top, it was so beautiful. And nobody else was looking at it, you know? So when you learn to see the magic and be grateful for things like that, I was grateful for that moment. Wish I had had my camera. You start to see it everywhere. Just like people with negative mindsets who see negativity everywhere start noticing more negativity. You could say the same thing about, you know, when you're thinking about buying a car and you're wondering like, maybe I should get that type of car. And as you're pondering this decision, you start seeing that car everywhere. Anyway, my point is the more you are grateful for in life and you stop holding on to the negativity or thinking about what you don't have, the more the universe sends you to be grateful for. And this is something that is, lots of people experience this. To my unhealed self, I would have said, that sounds like a bunch of baloney. Or that sounds like toxic, oh my gosh, toxic positivity, but it's not. So many, like millions of people experience this. Well, I don't know about millions. I don't know how many people are awakened to gratitude and light, but There are so many people out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. And the more signs you notice, the more you're grateful for, the more beauty you see in life, the more positive things you see in life, the more the universe sends for you. I think that is something that was hard for me with my family because they didn't see the positives. Their mindset was very negative. They had like I remember when I talked about healing and one of them said, my life is almost over. What's the point? It's like, so that's how you want to live the rest of your life? And again, not their fault. They were conditioned that way. But how can you grow? How can you evolve? How can you ascend and heal if you're stuck in that negative energy? Be thankful for your gifts as well. And you have gifts. We're all born magical. It's programmed out of us. Just like that person who said they were seeing a golden color, maybe golden eyes with Wally, you were close. He has gold, he's like white with gold markings, very blue eyes. Just like that person mentioned the color gold and they were seeing something about the liver. He is having his liver, whatever. He wasn't eating because he had an infection. He's an older cat, 15. But because he stopped eating, his liver started, I don't know what happens to the liver. I'm not a vet or I'm not scientific or whatever. But something about his liver started shutting down, and it can happen really quickly when cats stop eating. So just like that person saw golden color and knew it was his liver, like that's a gift. And we all have intuitive gifts. We all have magic within us. As a child, I used to believe I had magic in me, and it was like traumatized right out of me. I remember feeling like one of my cats was on death's door. She was only a year old. Her name was Coral. And I can remember every night like setting intentions. I wasn't spiritual as a kid. I remember setting intentions. I remember sending messages out to the universe. I remember praying even though I didn't pray. And I had a wish keeper, and the vet could not understand how she bounced back. And as a child, I felt magical. But again, it's programmed out of you. So you're all magical. We're taught not to listen to our gifts or our intuition or be shamed for them, or it's really sad, you know? Anyway, believe in your gifts. The power to help people, the power to heal yourself, your intuition. Be thankful for your gifts, whatever those gifts are. You know, put those towards your mission. Maybe one of your gifts, I'm seeing something, I don't know why, but this is looking very much like a peacock feather to me. So maybe one of your gifts is like the peacock, advanced acceptance of yourself and others. You can look at people with compassion. You can have unconditional love for unhealed people. You can love someone and still keep boundaries up. Maybe one of your gifts is you can overcome anything. And all of you can overcome anything. You're still here. So yes, there are moments in your life that get dark. There are moments in your life where you don't know if you're going to be able to overcome the darkness, or it feels like it's going to last forever. But you're sitting here right now, which means you've never not overcome things. And if you really do feel like you haven't overcome it, maybe it wasn't meant for you. Or maybe you're still working on it. You have not abandoned yourself. You're here right now listening to this message. That shows you can never be abandoned because you're not willing to abandon yourself. You know, I shared a video on Instagram that I saw, and it was a cat about trying to decipher downloads. And it was so funny. Like, it's funny trying to decipher downloads. I just completely blacked out when I was getting those downloads. Like, I just kind of came into awareness. Like, I don't know what happened there. It was just like that energy was just flowing through me. And then I kind of wake up and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Spirit channels, like, we're a channel for spirit. I allow spirit to channel through me, right? Anyway, interesting downloads. It's almost when you first start trying to interpret downloads, it's why I say the noise sometimes makes it hard for me to channel, because the downloads I'm getting, it's not like it's a straight message. It's not like it feels like it's in English. It kind of feels like, I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels, I need to figure out a way to describe it because somebody asked me. It's not like sometimes I hear certain downloads like really strongly. Other times it's just energy that I'm feeling, and it kind of feels like in Charlie Brown when the adults talked and it was meh, 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 meh. It feels like that, and it's hard to decipher, or it feels like it's in some energetic language. I'm not sure how to explain that. So, grateful. Are you eating Frosted Flakes? They're great. That just came to my mind. Life is an ever-flowing sacred river that can make our hearts spill over with wonder. We learn to flow with it by drawing on our capabilities in much the same way we learn to do our daily tasks. Nothing can bring us happiness until we choose to see the beauty of life. If we see our daily work as a manifestation of our life, we find countless ways to make it enjoyable. We become creative by having fun and constantly experiencing something new. There are many miracles floating in the air that you can see if you look deeper below the surface. Your physical body and your life itself are incredible gifts that have been given to you, just like healing. What a blessing being a cycle breaker is. Is it lonely? Yeah. Is it hard? Yeah. Is it painful? Yeah. But what a blessing it is to change the lives of generations to come. That's how I feel about it. To know that future generations in my family will not have the trauma I had, or my parents had, or their parents had. Like, it's passed down. There are so many things to be grateful for. I feel like Pollyanna right now. I loved Pollyanna. Where am I? Instead of complaining about not having enough time, money, health, or love, reflect on your present blessings, of which you have plenty. Dang straight. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, I may be triggering someone because I just heard, like, you don't know how hard my life is. You still have blessings there. If you don't feel like you have love in your life, what about the love you're working on for yourself? What about the love of your pet if you have a pet? I think we put there's a lot of pressure to think of love as like romantic love, but there's love of our friendships. There's love of our mission. There's love from our children, love from our animals. The other day when I was feeling emotional, I messaged my friend Michelle and I was like, I love you, because I do. I love her and I love all of you. There are things to be grateful for. Even small things like the ability to breathe. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can make gratefulness very simple, and it's not about toxic positivity. It's about deprogramming. Where was I? Reflect upon your pleasant blessings. So again, if you look hard enough, you can find one. I have a fun idea. Why don't you tell me one of your blessings right now? One of my blessings, healing journey, like I said, The soul tribe that I've aligned with, which includes you. One of the blessings I have is through talking with you, talking about healing. It heals me. And that in itself is like a reciprocal energetic exchange. You heal, I heal. You give, I give. It's that itself is a form of love and that energetic exchange. I love each and every one of you. And some of, like, I'm so emotional. Some of the comments of you saying, you know, how you have a very lonely life and listening to my readings brings comfort to your life where you feel like you have a friend. You do. I'm your soul friend. We are energetically connected. I feel blessed for that. It doesn't have to be complicated. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you can find something to be grateful for. And I am in no way trying to dismiss people who have hard lives. Everybody's on their own journey. I've had a hell of a journey throughout my life. I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't be sitting here right now being a healer if I hadn't gone through all that. I'd probably be living some superficial life, you know, nose to the grindstone, more focused on material things. I have to say, sometimes I really hate leaving my house. Like, I know I'm a homebody, but just when I went in downtown the other day, it was like, I don't know. I kind of wish we could live on an island or somewhere where there's not like all these buildings and advertising and highways and traffic. Simpler times. Be thankful for what you have, whether it is positive or negative. Exactly. Even the negative can be something that leads to something positive. If it is positive, appreciate that it is a blessing. And if it is negative, take it as an experience that challenges you to improve. When you stay aware and look for opportunities to succeed, you'll be able to meet your challenges as they come. Having gratitude for life can help you feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve your health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. Living thankfully creates an energy that beckons and draws blessings into your life. The aim of being grateful is not simply to utter words, but rather to live in this awareness at all times. Instead of grieving for the things you have lost, use your unique creative power and learn to develop and nurture it. All right. I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful that I live somewhere, and I know not all of you live in a safe place. I'm grateful that I live in a safe place where there's clean drinking water, you know, because there's so many places around the world who don't have that. It can be that simple. And we have anointed with love. Anointed. Let sweetness invigorate your life. This is your mantra, I welcome love and joy into my life and trust my heart to lead the way. When life feels routine and uninteresting, it means we are missing excitement and the feeling of wonder that could renew us. Exactly. When things start to feel mundane and repetitive, it's like you're in a simulation. Is that the right word? Life isn't meant to feel mundane. It does get mundane sometimes, especially if you like routine. I'm someone who likes routine. We long for something thrilling to bring us happiness we have been dreaming about. That happiness is within you. Just wanted to say that. What is missing is the light of love within us that wants to be revealed and shared. It is this energy that is longing to revitalize our life and fill our hearts with anticipation and passion. The most precious thing we can share along the journey of our soul is love. All the potential to feel love and the ability to heal are inside your heart. You are connected to the universal flow through that link. Where you are guided to be is determined by the elements of desire. You are blessed with the capability to discover countless ways to enjoy what you do and feel more creative in life. Longing is what helps you to embrace innovation and creativity and allow your uniqueness to express itself. When you wholeheartedly embrace what you do, are prepared to give your all. When you wholeheartedly embrace what you do, you are prepared to give your all. That makes more sense. Everything becomes more playful and more fun, and moments become more enjoyable. Let love beam from you like the sun and shimmer in a rainbow of colors as you shine your light upon others. Find creative ways to perform acts of kindness, a compliment, a small gift, a positive note, even a smile infused with light. Allow your heart to anoint your days and feel the warmth and wonder running over, bringing color and beauty to even the most ordinary day. There's something in that reminds me of something I posted today for you guys, which is, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Instead of judging someone, think of something nice about them. Instead of insulting someone, think about giving them a compliment. Instead of... It's so easy to put others down. And it's become so normalized, especially on social media. It's also equally as easy to make the decision to say something nice, you know? I think Thumper had it right. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's not our place to judge others. It's not our place to tell other people where am I going with this, Spirit? I said it in that post. I would much rather impact somebody's day by lifting them up energetically and being kind than being part of a reason someone overthinks, or someone doubts their self, or someone feels ashamed or embarrassed about something they struggle with. I'm not going to say it. I wanted to say it right there. I didn't say it. The reprogramming is happening already. I would much rather imagine someone going home and saying, I had a really nice interaction with this person, than going home and crying to their family or partner or friend about how someone brought them down or made them doubt themselves or feel small or not good enough or like they don't belong in this world. We have so much of that. You know, I feel like we're kind of outnumbered when it comes to... I almost feel like we're like, when you think about Lord of the Rings, right? Movie examples, that's me. When you think of Lord of the Rings, the army of the darkness, right? The Dark Lord, the orcs, it was powerful. And compared to that, the army of the light was very small. And I remember, like, how are they going to defeat all those all that darkness. How are they going to defeat it? I sometimes see us as like Middle Earth, where there's so much darkness in the world, there's so much negativity, there's so many hurt people hurting others. And sometimes it feels like we're outnumbered by that dark energy. Oh man. I'm just thinking about how funny I sound to a muggle right now. But I also believe in the power of the light. I believe in the power of healing. And the more of us that awaken and choose to be kind and choose to heal, because it's a choice, and choose to break cycles, the better this world will become. Like, do we really want to end up living out Wall-E, the movie, which is what my cat is named after? He's named after Wall-E. That movie makes me so emotional because it really is about how humankind destroyed Earth by, I don't know, I haven't seen it in a long time. Anyway, I don't want to end up like that. I don't want my future great, 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 great grandchildren to end up in a world that's overcome by negativity and hate. There's already so much of it. It's so sad. So, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. If you feel like you're watching someone and you're feeling a negative type of way about them, scroll on. You know, seriously, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Because I would hate to think of someone crying over something I said about them, where I wasn't even in a place to say that about them. You know, it's healing has changed me. Even just TV shows. I've talked about this before with ER. But I used to watch ER and I'd be so judgy. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they did this, and I hate her and I hate him. And oh my gosh, I hate that character and I can't believe she did that. And who does she think she is? And I know they're TV characters, but if I'm judging TV characters, imagine how I was judging people around me. Not that I was ever a type of person to put others down. I was never that type of person. I know that it comes from a wounded place, but I was always like a fixer. I had like fixer patterns. It's why I've become a healer. Doesn't mean that I think that I can fix everyone, but I shine my light so the people who want to heal can find me. And we're not meant to be fixed. We're meant to heal. We're not broken. It's so funny looking back, like my screen names, Beautifully Broken, Chasing Peace. Like, I cannot, looking back, the names that I chose is just like my Flickr was Chasing Peace. I was chasing peace. Anyway. But then when I rewatch movies and things like that as a healed person, or I look at people, I have a completely different perspective of it. We have the gift of kindness and acceptance within us. And it's not our job. It's really not our job to put others down. Again, this is coming through very heavily for me right now. Anyway, in other news, I'm going to stop this reading now. I'm not going to post any details yet. You listening to this reading, You're clearly not here for instant gratification about hearing about love. So I'm going to mention it right here first, okay? I am currently in collaboration with an astrologer. And because astrology is important too. I don't want to say too much because I don't understand astrology or birth charts very well. But someone had recently asked me for a personal reading. I haven't replied to you yet. I'm going to. And they mentioned, do you do birth charts? And to me, like birth charts, astrology, I'm trying to learn, but it almost feels like it doesn't feel like it's aligned with me, right? Intuitive reading, cards, downloads, that's aligned with me. But anyway, it had me thinking, in a world where everybody's in competition with each other, light workers are not supposed to be in competition with each other. That's not a true light worker. Anyway, I've really hesitated collabing with others. Nothing to do with them or competition. So I have asked to do collaborations before, but part of me was scared. I was lacking the confidence. I've been asked to be on podcasts. I have never done it because, again, fear within me, fear of, I don't know what. Siren, you're being protected. Archangel Michael, hello. Um, and the person that they're heading to is also being protected medically. But anyway, when that person asked me about birth charts, it occurred to me I could join forces with someone and not only talk about tarot and energy, but you also get to understand what makes you who you are, where your planets are aligned, what you can tell I don't know anything about this. Astrology for me, like when I read my birth charts and the readings, the astrology readings, the birth chart readings I get done, it's mind-blowing to me. It's like, I remember when I read my birth chart, it described me so perfectly. And it also kind of showed me what I needed to work on. So, again, I'm not ready to make this announcement on my page yet, but I'm going to be opening a very limited amount of spots. I'm going to be collaborating with an astrologer. So you would get a reading from me, a tarot reading. It can be about career, it can be about healing, it can be about love. It's tarot only. And then you also get a birth chart reading from the astrologer. And you would get them separately, so they wouldn't be... Maybe someday I'll evolve to that where I work with an astrologer where we pull tarot cards while we're talking about your birth chart. But astrology is such a great way to get to understand the blueprint of you. I'm probably not even wording that right, but that's what Spirit is telling me. It's a very powerful tool. And looking at my birth chart and my placements has taught me so much about myself. And again, sometimes it blows my mind. So again, very limited amount of spots. Just to we're just going to offer a limited amount of spots at first. Because doing personal readings, I've really enjoyed connecting with you and helping people, sometimes being honest with people, the people who need. It's funny because sometimes it's very validating, right? To have your intuition confirmed. Other times, some things we're struggling with, you kind of need to hear the truth about. And as hard as it's been for me for those readings where it wasn't the message the person was looking for, it also gives them the tool to empower themselves. But anyway, so I'm going to post about it when it happens. Very limited spots. and it'll be a joint thing where you get a tarot reading from me and you get a birth chart reading from this astrologer. I believe, without giving too much information away, your birth chart can be live or recorded, whatever you want. I'm just doing pre-recorded right now. But if you're interested in that and you missed out booking a personal reading with me, I'm currently fully booked all the way until the end of March. And we are looking at offering this collaboration for February. So I've purposely made room in my schedule for this. If there's, again, these are not the details. If you have booked a reading with me already, and I haven't done it yet, and you would like to add on a birth chart reading, that's also an option. So that's all I'll say about that. Wow, for someone who didn't want to say a lot about it, I said a whole bunch. Anyway, I love you guys. Like, this was the highlight of my day. So thank you. Don't worry, I'm resting. I love that you're all telling me to rest and take care of myself and that you'll still be here. But this is a very healing thing for me to do while I'm physically recovering. And oh my gosh, I went too long. Gosh. Anyway, 106. I went over my 50 limit. I've been told to like gradually increase the times that I'm sitting. So that's why you've seen my readings go from like 40 minutes to 45 to 50 to 55 to 59 to apparently 106 or 107. Oh gosh, 6-7. Don't get me started. You know, that 6-7 thing, that meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing. The kid, like, I saw the clip about it. I had to look it up because I'm so out of touch. It literally meant nothing. It was just some kid in the stands, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. Why does that catch on and become a viral thing, but kindness doesn't? Like, we should treat kindness like that stupid 6-7 trend. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you for being a very important part of my day. And I will talk to you guys soon. And I'm actually going to blow you a kiss. Bye.